You can automate your business without losing that personal touch. That's why I have Marcy here today. She's going to hop on here to tell us a little bit about herself and why this concept matters to her and why it should matter to you. Marcy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. So my name is Marcy, and I am a Dubsado Certified Specialist, and help people with their operation side of their business to kind of grow and scale. And really, what I focus on is helping them to create a client experience for all their customers that makes them want to keep coming back, while also making it easier on my clients. So helping them to put in some systems and some processes in place and to help them automate some things that might be just spending too much time on the back end. And what I love to be able to do is that at the same time that they're saving time, their clients are also getting even a better experience with them than they would have been if this wasn't going on in the background, because they have all these things in place to where they're not forgetting anything and they're not letting little things slip through the cracks.
That's amazing. Like really, when you conceptualize this as a business owner, you're wearing all the hats, you're doing all of the things. And if you have to do all of that manually, it winds up really draining you. You don't have the energy to serve to your top capacity. But a huge concern is, okay, but I don't want to be a bot.
Right.
Right. I don't want to show up like that. And so what you're saying is that using your skills in Dubsado, using the automations that are provided there, you can actually infuse that with personality and with personalization for each of your clients, not only to the degree where you feel authentic, but also to the degree where they feel like they're getting the best service out there.
Exactly.
And that's mind-blowing.
Yeah, because even little things, I know people are scared to do canned emails or things like that in their processes. But when you're doing that, you also have time to think through them and to make sure that nothing is getting missed. And also you have trial and error from, say, the previous client that you're like, okay, for my next clients, I need to make sure and add this into my process. And you don't miss out on those little things. You're making sure that you're telling them about how it's going to be working with you, about what to expect, about when to expect things, how to communicate with you, different things like that. And you can put all these things in your emails or your packets. There's a lot of different things along our process to make it easier on your clients, as well as yourself.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know, a canned email is just a templated email that you send out at a specific time. And although I will be the first person to say that I don't love templates because they feel kind of inauthentic, when I say that, I'm talking about a plug and play sales page, website, something like that. Very plug and play. Only change the business name. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about creating an email that makes sense for you and your business and the point in the journey that your client's on. And it's yours. You've created it. You've really given all of your all to that. You're just repurposing an authentic piece of copy to all of your clients so they get the same top level experience.
Absolutely. And that's the major thing that I kind of stress when they're kind of creating those things for me is I ask them to put your voice, as if you're writing this to one of your current clients, put your voice and how you would talk to them, what you would ask them, what you would be giving them. And then just making sure that, you're covering all your bases and that it's a good experience for them. And, they know exactly, what's going to be happening as you work together.
That's huge. And this part too, exactly what they need and exactly what they're going to come to expect while you're working together. So that's a really important thing to kind of conceptualize is that client journey, right? What are you going to say when and how in order to make sure that journey is top notch? Can you talk to me a little bit more about creating and optimizing the client journey?
Absolutely. So that's one thing that we kind of do at the beginning of working together. Some people will already have it, kind of their journeys laid out for their customers, or they think they do at least. And then we start talking about it, and I like to break it into a 5-stage process. And once we break it into the 5 stages, They might be like, oh, I kind of missed something here, or, I kind of missed something there. And it really helps them to walk through and to be able to make sure that they're hitting every point along the way, and their clients aren't getting, left behind or, out in the dark somewhere. So, being able to, focus on every little piece of their journey with you is huge.
And I mean, full disclosure, I have personal experience with this with you. And I have to say that Marcy does this really cool thing where like she's asking the tough questions. You like where you think you already knew kind of what was going on, but then Marcy goes ahead and says, okay, but what about this specific nitty-gritty thing that you don't think matters, but then it actually changes like the direction of history? Like kind of like I always envision like I think it's in The Simpsons where Homer goes into the past, kills a mosquito, and then like everybody now has tentacles. But it really is that significant of this little detail. And having somebody like you, a specialist who understands the client's journey and understands our role as service providers in that client's journey makes a huge difference in the experience of a person as they're walking through that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, you said, I remember you saying to me in the past that there were certain steps to optimize that journey. What do those look like?
So I have it broken down to, and it's pretty common across, the operation and the back end part. It's not like that I made these steps up, it's very common, across my industry. But I like to walk them through the inquiry, phase of when someone is coming into your world. Where are they coming from? How are they finding you? How are you communicating with them? How do you want them to be able to communicate with you? Do you want them to be able to book a call right away? Do you want them to, just send you a note first and then you reach out to them if they sound like they're going to be a good fit? And then after your inquiry, we go to booking, where you're actually having that sales conversation with them. You're getting information and feedback from them. You're letting them know what you can do. You're giving them the proposal, your contract, your invoice, getting them on board and signing with you. And then the third phase would be the onboarding, where they've signed on, they've paid. Yay, we want them to pay.
That's a pretty big important part to this process. And hey, when you close your day, I don't care if you've closed 100, 1,000 deals. I don't care if this is your first deal. I don't care if it's high ticket or low ticket. Before you even start the onboarding phase, which Marcy will teach you how to automate, you celebrate. You lean into that and you go, I did it. I'm going to serve the hell out of these clients. And then the workflow follows.
And getting them that they know, like during your proposal and your all that they're going to be required to pay before you're actually going to begin working together, or before the onboarding actually starts, is huge. And then you can celebrate with them as well. After they pay, then they get their onboarding packet, and it's, welcome, to this journey that we're going to have together. Here's, what you can expect. Here's what we're going to do together. Here's how we're going to do it. That sort of thing. So that's the onboarding. That's the third phase.
Yeah, and actually, you know what, you said something really important there, Marcy, is just that idea that like they already know that they need to pay in order to start working with you. So this is something that I know a lot of, in particular, newer entrepreneurs face this kind of, oh man, like I didn't get paid, or I'm chasing down invoices, or I'm doing X, Y, Z. Well, this is where automation and personalizing that automation gets you paid faster.
Absolutely.
Right. So like in the end, you don't need to chase people down because your system's already running it through, and you simply don't, and in fact can't move on to the next level until they've done what they need to do.
Right. And then
so that's like, over and above all the rest, you're getting paid. Like this is important.
And also building in, like your payment plans, which will automatically send out those reminders to them if they haven't paid yet. Okay, you've agreed to this, you've signed your contract. But you still need to pay your invoice, for us to get started and move on. And you can do it, without, like you said, some people have a hard time doing that and asking. So let your automation do it for you, but you've already written that email. You've done it in a way that feels right to you, so it's going to be an easy thing. And then then after you kind of do your onboarding and that with them, then you can get going on their project. And that would be your project management, your fulfillment, kind of that's what you're really delivering to them. And then after you've done your wonderful work, then you close it out, with your offboarding. And don't forget your offboarding. It's so, so important. There's the 3 things I really like to suggest that people get from their offboarding is, of course, their testimonial. What was it like to work with me? You can use that in your socials, your website, on brochures, wherever you need it. But then also referral, like a referral program. If you, a little bonus for referring someone new to me, here's your referral bonus and here's theirs. Anything that is going to help out, to help people remember, hey, it was so great working with her, and I know that other people would love it as well. And then, just the follow-ups. Follow up and check in with them, after your project is over. It may be 6 months or, 9 months down the road, and you check in with them and they're like, I've got something new coming. I'm so glad that you reached out. I really could use a little help with this. So you just never know.
That makes a huge difference. And what I really want to highlight here is this idea, again, I'm going to reflect back to what I've been talking about all along, is you're never not marketing.
Right.
So at the beginning, when you're looking at people coming in for the inquiry stage, right, you've put yourself out there first, which is your marketing. You've put yourself out there, intentionally marketing your business. And then now they're coming into your process.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're going through the process, even after they've signed and booked it, every single step of the way, that nurturing in the inquiry, that proposal that you've sent, that you're touching base, you have a system set up so that you don't miss a beat, and they feel like they're being consistently served, that they are your top priority. You're not hands-on doing this, but you have been very intentional about creating that atmosphere for your client using the skills that you just described. All of that is still marketing, right? Because they remember that, they feel that, right? They go into, and even when I believe it was the fulfillment stage, when you're actually working with them, being a Dubsado specialist, Dubsado has a portal where they can hop in there as a client and access all of the information with a click, and then they're done. They're in their space. This is still marketing.
Absolutely.
Right? Once you've finished, and I'm going to argue that offboarding is probably one of the most important parts of the process, and people drop the ball all the time, especially if they're doing it manually.
Yeah.
Because you get to that point and you're tired. Like, it was fun. I enjoyed working with you, but I've already kind of submitted my end of the deal, and I'm a little tired, and I know you're ready to go on. And so it usually fizzles out. Well, with a process like this, you don't need to do anything, and it's following up. It's doing those things,
Right.
and it's leaving them with that sweet taste in their mouth, so that they do make those referrals, so that they do leave those testimonials, and they do come back for more.
Yep.
Still marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, it's all the way through the process, and you do have to, maintain that level of marketing to them, or they won't give you those referrals later on. If they don't have a good experience with you throughout, if they felt like your communication was off, if they felt like they were in the dark during part of your process while you were busy doing their stuff, it may be a great output, but they also like to be informed along the way. And so having the workflows and, the system and the process in place to remind yourself to let them know, and to remind yourself to maybe send them a little tidbit. This is where we are so far in your process. This is kind of what I'm working on. Maybe even send them a sample, and depending on what you're doing for them, but send them a little tidbit or a little snippet. But you can build all that into your process. Whereas, like you said, if you're doing it manually, it's just so easy for those things to slip through because you're busy. You're working on multiple clients' projects usually. And, you're trying to not drop the ball on the back end, but then sometimes that forward facing with the clients and the communication, suffers a little bit. So having those things in process to help you build that is really key.
And in that space, while you're creating the workflow, while you're getting all of that set up, how do you in particular reinforce that feeling of authenticity, that feeling of that personal touch? Or the phrase that I love when you use is that white glove experience. Like, that to me is just like, I literally envision this like posh person coming in with their gloves and they're testing. And so, it feels so good and luxurious. So how do you really encourage and empower people to do that within the context of automation?
Yeah. So, basically just a lot of the white glove experience and is just the communication and to them, making them feel like they are your only client. And they don't have to be. I mean, they know that they're not, but, just putting them first, in communication and things, and you can always throw in other little things that really kind of tie it all together. Like when they sign on, you can send them a little gift, and it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be just a little notepad or a little whatever that helps just remind them that, hey, I am grateful for this opportunity, and I cannot wait to get started. Or if you are on a VIP type meeting with somebody, and it's going to be a long day, that they're spending time with you, or you're trying to get information and things from them, send them lunch, and that can be built into your process. Whether it's just the reminder to do it, the reminder to send them out the thing, writing yourself to-dos that are built into your workflows and your process, are huge lifesavers, even if some of the work is still on you manually as far as to actually dial or that. But some of it's not. There's really a lot of automations that you can do where you can take yourself out of it completely. But you do that at your level that feels comfortable and feels right. So just adding those little touches in, and letting them know that you value them as a client.
So what I'm hearing is that, like, not only are these automations, these highly personalized automations, saving you time, saving you energy, but they're also simultaneously over serving your clients.
Yes, and that's a huge thing. You always want your clients to feel like they got the most out of bang for their buck. And even if it's a high ticket offer, if you're delivering an excellent service, they're going to feel like that was worth every penny I just paid. So you want them to have that kind of experience, and that white glove touch when they're going through, they're working with you.
And that's a really difficult concept to kind of accept,
Yeah.
that less is more,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it is the truth in almost every single aspect of life.
Yeah.
If you try to really clasp, and I always envision that sand metaphor, right? When they say, if you want to hold sand, you don't hold it tightly, it'll all drip through your fingers. You have to hold it softly.
Yeah.
And steadily, right? And just be consistently there. And this is a really great continuation of any sort of inbound and outbound marketing. Active marketing is, if you're not being consistent in your posts, in your blogs, in your videos, in your connections, in your conversations, in your DMs, all of that, if you're not being consistent, your nurturing is gonna feel like this to them.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so who here loves turbulence? I didn't think so, right? Nobody loves that. We want a smooth flight. And that's during the marketing phase, like the active intentional marketing phase, and the subconscious inquiry. What are the steps? I was jotting them down. Inquiry, booking, onboarding, fulfillment, and offboarding. So all through these 5 steps. Now, if you haven't taken note, everybody, you should have. All through these 5 steps, they need to be consistently serving your client as well.
Right. And also to where it's making it easy for them and you. And like you're saying, or one thing that made me think of this, that you were saying, if you're prepared, then you don't have to bombard them all the time. You can tell them, this is what I need, and not keep going back the second time, the third time, and getting information, because you've already planned out exactly what you need from them. So then you can ask them, up front. It can be in your onboarding packet, or it can be in your, getting started packet. These are all the things I'm going to need from you. And then later on, you're not just continually like, okay, well, now I kind of need this too, or, I had a few more questions. If you have your process lined out, you know exactly what questions you need to ask them.
Now you're making me think too. Another part of this is that feeling of being professional.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling, and that's like a lot of times, we come into, and I've spoken about this many times on the podcast, is this idea of imposter syndrome. It's like, am I good enough? Do I know my stuff? Oh my goodness. But when you're organized, when you have a system, and when you don't need to always have your fingers in the muck of it,
Mm-hmm.
you feel more confident, you feel more professional, you're being perceived as more professional, even if while you were doing it manually, you gave the same service,
Mm-hmm.
the energy and the feeling shifts.
Yep. And they will feel that too. That's what I tell my, clients as we're going through this. Sometimes it's hard to feel like you're giving away control when you're doing automation, but in the long run, you're actually more put together and more professional to your clients, because they're like, wow, she really has her stuff together. This is, they feel taken care of.
And isn't that what we all want? And at any time, truly, I want to feel like I'm being taken care of.
Yeah.
Please bring me my tea and my book, you would. Especially as we go into these lovely fall days that are so melancholy and beautiful. I still want my book and my tea.
Oh.
Right, that's it. Now, that said, Marcy, we have run out of time, so I want to invite you to give some final thoughts, cherry on top, sprinkle a little gold dust, pixie dust, whatever it is that you want to share with the world. And then also make sure you tell people where to find you, because what you do and the impact you make on both the back end and the forefront of a business literally blows my mind every day that I think about it. So go ahead and share with the world.
Okay. So a big thing that I usually try to impress is that by optimizing your client experience, you can really maximize your profits as well. So, when you add all this automation in and you really think out your process, you're in the long run going to increase your revenue, because they are going to be able to give you the referrals, that you really want and you really need, because there's some cost with you all along the way. They were felt taken care of. And that leads to more. It also frees up your time to do more sales. So just don't be afraid to put some automation and some thought into your back end processes, because it will serve you in the long run.
I love that. And to reach out to you, very, very easy, guys. And I strongly encourage you to do so. Get over there to www.crossroadsvirtualsolutions.com. The link is in the show notes as well. So you want to hop over there, connect with the socials, and make sure you read your blog too, because it's pretty freaking amazing. And just some, as like a little, I'm going to go back to over here because I want to make sure that I include this as somebody who does indeed use Dubsado. Full disclaimer, I use Dubsado. I freaking love it. Marcy shares like, how do you do the thing? So like you can literally just go in there and go, oh, thanks, Marcy. There are lots of steps involved. It is a tedious process. Marcy does it faster, better, and more efficiently than anyone else. Shameless promotion because I freaking love her. That said, I just want to leave everybody with let me just do a little bit of shifty work here. Ta-da! And invite everyone to join us next week, because we have more amazing conversations like this that are going to leave you empowered and ready to tackle the world, leading with your best foot forward and optimizing your business success. So, Marcy, thank you again for joining us on this wonderful conversation today. We will be chatting soon, and I hope the rest of you have an amazing rest of your day.